The Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the pan. That dude Fizz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a chip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin flying around the field. Starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, blue jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot to death, oh yes. These are the sports podcasts live as a pro's corpse. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window. They analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for them four letters. The latest news, score stats and a view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season if people starting five. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. If it's sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat stick. I got what you need.
Each and every motherfucking week, we got what y'all need. What up, everybody? It's your boy, the mayor, that DJ named Ace5, your mom's favorite fat guy, all the way from deepest, darkest Africa, and we are back with the newest episode of the Starting Five. Now, we're testing this out. We're finally on Twitch. We're going to see how this Twitch shit works out for us. If we instantly, and I mean like instantly, start getting fucking blocks for drinking whatever we drinking, you know, me and the cigars and TJ with the cigars. So if they start to come around and start blocking, saying this, like, I'm not even in it for the affiliates. I'm in it just to get this thing out further. But if we start getting strikes, it's just as quick as we've been off Facebook. We out of that bitch. And it's okay, because we ain't gaming on here, even though we are talking about games of a different sort. We're talking about people playing games today, and we're talking about later in the show one of the greatest to ever play any game, and that's condolences and rest in peace to Mr. Bill Russell. We just lost at the age of 88, as I called the true Lord, or as we called last week, the true Lord of the Rings. That's why this episode is named that. But before we get to there, let's say what's up to everybody, and let's start with the brother coughing at the bottom.
I'm coughing on some coffee, some G-rated coffee, by the way. G-rated.
G-rated.
Oh man, it's your boy Big O. I'm out right here, you know, trying to get my mind right. You know, I got some painting to do later on, so after the show. So trying to get my mind right, man. Chop it up with y'all for a little bit. That's about it, man.
All right, while you're painting, because this has been the elephant in the room ever since you started to join us.
Oh no.
Can we while you paint, can we fix the fan in the trap house? It's all love, you know what I'm saying? It's all love. It ain't no shots. I just want my brother. I want my brothers to be straight. That's all.
So let me tell you about the fan, right?
All right, please.
So the fan, it is something that I've done 1,001 times. You know, I'm taking my shirt off as the fan is going. It's never happened before. This particular night, I do it. All I hear is bang bang, and yeah, R.I.P. to the fan.
I got you.
I got a new one, man. I just gotta get somebody to do it. You know, I'm thinking about going back down to Home Depot, man, and getting some upstanding citizens or non-citizens that are outside of Home Depot.
We get you.
Word to my old neighborhood of Port Richmond. They used to stand on Port Richmond Ave in Castleton every morning, as they still do. They actually sit out by my old junior high school, IS 51, just waiting for a pickup truck or a van to say how much for the day.
Yep.
So now, but that is, like I said, just observation. And you said you're doing work, so I just had to ask my good brother. But a man who was putting in work last night, no pause intended, but we are lucky that he's here today, breathing, sipping on his water.
Yeah,
Jamal,
my
JG.
brown water. Appreciate
Okay, there
y'all.
you
Yeah,
go.
man.
What's
You
good?
know, before I mess up the saying, was you need a piece of the head, of the dog that bit you. And that's how I'm surviving today, brothers. Um, I can't do it like I used to, so I carry that shit like 3 days after now on the long nights of drinking. So,
Damn.
but I'm out here. Appreciate being back here. Always on top of my brothers on the starting five. Still hot out today, but it's crazy. It's hot and clear blue sky over there, and on this side, at least here in Central Jersey, the it's dark gray and thundering over there. So I might have to do a quick fire drill in a few minutes. If you see me dip off, it's because I'm running from the rain.
And it's crazy that it's been happening up here. Like my wife and kids ran in the house talking about, yo, it's raining outside. It's raining. And then I look out the window and it looks like the clouds is probably like just over this house because the other side is blue.
Yeah.
But we got this man here who is so old school, he still don't know how to work the camera on his 1985 Zach Morris G Money phone. JP.
Excuse me. I am on a laptop. I just got to get this camera fixed. I guess one day soon. But anyway, I'm only going to be here for a short while today.
Yo, it's been 2 years. But one day soon, we're gonna get it together.
Well, we're not going exactly. We're not getting in today. What's
Yeah,
going on,
well,
everybody? How's everybody doing today?
What's up, JP? What's the good word, man?
we all right. Today is the first day we are trying Twitch as one of the streaming platforms, along with the YouTube, because I've been on the fuck Facebook campaign since I left, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we gotta. I mean, you say you're only gonna be here for a minute, but we got a pack show. Of course, we're gonna close it out with our I don't want to call it the star of the cover of the episode, but we're paying tribute to Bill Russell at the end. So Jamal, which form of shenanigans do you want to start with? Do you want to start with a little bit of slap on the wrist tampering? Do you want to start with text messages? Or I have a TikTok question of the week. Do y'all want to just get into that kind of fun first before we get into the bull jive?
Yeah, let's do that.
All
Let's
right,
go with
TikTok.
TikTok.
All right. So let me pull up my TikTok. Excuse me, y'all. Because I pulled it up, but pause. I didn't I had it on my phone, not on my not on the computer. But let me
That's
get
all
to
right.
it. And I gotta say big shout outs to the kid, Mr. Glorious, for this question, but I had to drop mine on there. And after I dropped mine on there, I had some other ideas for some other people. Big shout outs to Mr. Glorious, young kid who, he's one of those WWE lifers, but he always posts some dope shit, mostly WWE content. But here we go. Listen up.
Who are some professional athletes that you think would cut some great wrestling from?
What up, kid? Since you did three, the mayor's gonna do three, maybe some more. We'll see. First one up. I originally said Mike Tyson before I had deleted and edited it. Mike Tyson was already in wrestling a few times. So my first pick is actually Richard Sherman.
Oh
Go
yeah.
back and watch some of Richard Sherman's post game shit. Number two, it's Mr. Get Your Popcorn Ready. T.O. Number three, the man who said one of my favorite quotes: "You can't hurt me. I'm a machine, you jerk." Ray Lewis. Honorable mention to Larry Bird. Everybody said Larry Legend knew how to talk that shit on the court. So I think he'd cut a very laid back but very stinging, almost Jake the Snake like promo. So what y'all say? What y'all say to that, man? I really do think Jake what's the name would be on some Jake Snake Roberts type shit. Some Larry Bird would be like, like on some what's his name? What the fuck is the dude's name? Trinidad James, don't believe me, just watch.
Yeah.
Like, don't
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
me, just watch. Nigga. But I think Jake Snake Rob. I mean, Larry Bird would be a fire one for wrestling, like to cut wrestling promos on people. So Jamal, what say you? Who do you think is a good athlete that would cut a great wrestling promo?
Oh, there's a few, but starting off the rip is fucking Adrian Broner, the boxer Adrian Broner.
Because when you want cheese on that burger, you know what you gonna get.
You know, about billions. You know, well, so he thinks so. But I think Adrian Broner would eat that shit up, dog. He would be must-watch TV if he was cutting wrestling promos, hands down.
That shit would be once again like mushmouth. But oh, what says you? Who do you think would cut a great promo?
I think Shaq. Did Shaq ever do one?
He did.
Shaq was just on AEW about 2 years ago when they introduced Jay Cargill.
Oh,
He,
okay.
yeah,
Damn. Damn, that
and
was, that was my
and
pick.
he was on WWE way back in the day, but they
Oh,
missed
like
the
when it
opportunity.
first started.
No, not when it first started, but
Nah,
they
he had
missed
that
the.
riff with Big Show, didn't he?
But they didn't have the match though.
Mm.
I don't think they had the match.
Okay, that's probably why I don't remember.
Yeah.
I probably would have avoided whatever
Go
contract
ahead.
he
I
had.
mean, you can pick somebody else, but Shaq is good. I like Shaq too. I tried to stay away from the people personally when I made my picks. I stayed away from, like I said, I stayed away from Tyson because that would be phenomenal. But Tyson was in wrestling. Remember
Right,
back
right.
then with the DX beef and the Austin Triple H shit, and then he was just at AEW in their first year during the pandemic too.
That's right.
No,
Um,
but you can pick somebody else.
Shit. Man. I
Fam,
would say Charles. I would say Charles Barkley. Only
Yes.
because that shit would be
yes.
funny as hell, boy.
Yeah. Yes.
What
Yes.
y'all say? I fuck
Yeah,
all
man.
your mamas. What he say? to go to sleep faster.
Right? He said, I am
That shit's
not your
hilarious.
role model, knucklehead. But JP,
Man, he stole my thunder. I said I was going to say Charles too, but I have to go with Ali.
Oh
that's
yeah.
an
That's
easy
good.
one.
Yeah, I thought about him
Give me
too.
another. Give me another one, because that's too easy. That's an obvious one. Give me another one. Think
Man,
about this. You can go back to
um,
1954 when you was 10. It's okay.
not funny, but anyway, let me think. Damn it. Who
Bro,
would
there's a lot
cut
of
a
them.
good promo? Who would? I'm trying to think. I would say maybe Randy Moss for some reason when he mooned the crowd in Green Bay. In Green Bay,
Okay. So I that's like, all right, in my opinion, I see what you're saying. In my opinion, that would be like good, like you're you're one of the members in the faction, but you're just doing like the hothead shit. You're not doing the talking.
yeah. I'm trying to think who else would cut it. I know I got somebody on the tip of my tongue who cut a good promo. Um,
Fam, just think wide receivers, bro. Wide receivers, boxers, and inside linebackers, man.
Chad Ochocinco.
Good
There you
one.
go.
Because that was
There you
one I
go.
left off. I was
Yeah,
gonna mention
I was gonna
him.
say Ocho Cinco. I just remembered Ocho Cinco would definitely
There you go.
cut a good promo.
Yeah, he would definitely go. I wanted to pick him when I made that video, when I did the response to that video. I definitely wanted to pick Ocho Cinco because
hmm
he was full of them, especially with the antics like the when he pulled out the Hall of Fame jacket, knowing damn well that nigga ain't going into the hall,
Yep.
unfortunately. But you know what I'm saying?
You know what? You look at
I
the
don't think.
numbers, but if you look at the numbers, he has
I,
Hall of Fame numbers.
but he's been out of the league for so long now, and I've never even heard him come up in like a percentage of voting.
How long has he been out the league? Let me look this up real
Yeah,
quick.
while you looked at
Almost 10
why you
years.
it has to be close to that, but
Nah, I
why
think it's less than that.
it's been a
Um,
minute.
hold on, I'm about to get it now.
I'll tell you who else. Just off the rip, number one, Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
The hit
Nine.
tape, yeah.
He's been out since. Yeah, you're right. He's been out since 2012.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but
decade.
he might get in one day on a senior committee thing.
Yeah, but there's like a certain length of time on the hall though
Man,
nowadays,
it's been
right?
cats that been out of it. That's been out of there for have been retired. Like say like for instance, Cliff Branch. I mean, yeah, Cliff Branch. Cliff Branch should have been in the Hall of Fame. I know we're not talking about that, but I'm just saying he should have been in the Hall of Fame because he left. I guess what was it, 86, 85 was his last year with the Raiders. Man, he could have been the best receiver in the 70s. He has a
And
case for it.
you know what? I'm mixing up baseball with football Hall of Fame because yeah, football guys seem to go in
Yeah,
way
later.
later.
Some of them
Baseball
do.
they baseball they pulled the shenanigans recently to try to be able to weed out, and that's the best way I could put it, to be able to try to weed out the quote unquote steroid era player. So they can put their names on there like, look, we're giving them a shot, but then disrespectfully
Mm-hmm.
give them one vote, 1%, 2%,
Garbage.
2%, 1% here and there, just to say that, well, we gave y'all what y'all wanted, but they didn't make it. You only got 15 years of chance. And that's
And Dan, while you're at it with that, with the baseball part, while you're at it with that, I know it's not going to happen, but can they please stop this Pete Rose shit? Seriously. Like Pete Rose, okay, he gambled, what, almost 40 years ago. Okay, get over it. He should be in the Hall of Fame. That's all I wanted to say.
and you're right. You're totally right.
They'll wait till he's dead.
Yep.
You
And
know.
they'll figure out a way till he's dead, till Barry Bonds is dead.
Hmm.
And get those guys because you what? They don't love you till you dead.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. But somebody who's definitely not getting in no Hall of Fame, Deshaun Watson. This
Mm.
week finally had his 6 games. It was a 6 game suspension handed down to him because of previous league precedents set before and situations not to this magnitude. And I'll explain why I say this magnitude in a second. But situations like this, it's never warranted more than a 6 game suspension. Um, even though Ray Rice can say otherwise because his unfortunately costed him his career, even with his wife pretty much standing up for him and trying to take some onus of what happened within the elevator incident. But the cameras said otherwise. Ray Rice eventually lost his career and his job in the NFL. But this Deshaun Watson situation, he's settled on 23 of the 24 women that have come out so far. This is what when doing more research on this because I had to go look up these alleged text messages that were out there. So while looking this shit up, I seen he settled on 23 of the 24 cases. Um the text messages, the pieces that came out, I mean, it's kind of subjective to how you kind of think that these will go. And you know what? Out of respect, I was going to show them, but I'm not going to show them. You can find them on all different websites. I'll just read them. This is the first one that I came up across. This was somebody writing to Deshaun Watson. He said it starts off with him. Let me hit my manager to send it to me. I'm currently on vacation, so I'll get to you. Somebody sends, "Hey Deshaun, I know you're probably busy, but can you scan me the executed copy of the original NDA you have via email? Also, I wanted to know if you're interested in a follow-up call to make sure we're on the same page about a game plan moving forward. Warmest regards." It has a name on the bottom that I'm not going to read. And then it says, "Deshaun, I need to speak with your manager again." And then almost an hour after that, when it says, "Hey, Deshaun, your manager was pretty contentious about negotiations. No problem. I wish you the best and good luck." Then it looks like again from another person via green bubble text message. The other one was from like Instagram DMs, but this is from text message. It says, "Hope all is well. Just wanted to say I apologize for my actions. That was not me, and if I could take back that moment, I would. I really devalued my integrity and my professionalism. My sessions have never went like that. I feel real horrible as a person." And he texts back, "I'm sorry. What do you mean?" Oh no, wait. This is the person who's receiving the message from
From
Deshaun
Deshaun.
in that case. Yeah.
Okay.
Then the next message to Deshaun, but this is Deshaun asking in Instagram, do you have any availability today after 4 p.m. for massage appointments? Goes, not today, but I could do anytime tomorrow. Damn, nothing you can squeeze in an hour. What's the latest you're available this evening? You give me times. What's a contact I can hit you on? Just trying to support black business. And then it goes to text message from somebody to Deshaun. Says, Deshaun, gotcha. Anytime after 7 works. I know it would take me at least 30 minutes to get there. To get where? What are you doing before 7? I'm mobile right now, so I would have to come to you. And I'm in the middle of moving. Okay, it's a suite at a hotel, fine. And you couldn't get away just for an hour from moving? Yes, give me a few. I'll hit you right back. Okay, bet. I'll be in a Houstonian hotel. Or if you have a place, I could come to you. So that sounds like Deshaun texting back to said person. So these are the text messages out there that people are, I guess people who have been reporting on this situation have been taking advantage, my opinion, taking advantage of people and their laziness and not going to look this stuff up and making them sound like these were very damning text messages. In my
They're
opinion, this
very
seems pretty
ambiguous.
like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jamal, because that's what it felt like.
They feel ambiguous. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to, I mean, the one text message where I guess he's apologizing for his behavior or whatever. I mean, they're gonna magnify that in court. The rest of that stuff is just like I don't know. I don't know what to take from it. I can get it. They seem like regular communication text messages of people trying to set up appointments.
Yeah, but like the way these news organizations and sports organizations have been reporting this, they've been reporting it like these text messages were damning. Now there
Right.
probably could be more that have been released but not released to the public. But there probably could be more. But for these that have been released to the public, what's so damning about this? Like it just sounds like he was trying to set up an appointment.
Right. I mean, like you said, there was, like Jamal said, there was no, what you just read. There's no smoking gun. That's what I think. That's what we were all looking for when when we got those text messages. I mean, listening to and knowing that Deshaun Watson the whole case. I'm like, damn, did he have a problem with going to the team? Going to the team trainers and get a massage or something? You know, I mean, because you do this now, you're setting yourself up now for people to talk. You know, as you said, there was no smoking gun in any of those text messages that he said that were back and forth. It just sounded like regular conversation. Him trying to spark trying to get an appointment whatever case was. So they're really reaching right now. That's what it sounds like to me. Like maybe there's more that we don't know, but right now that's a reach.
Right. And there very well could be, JP, that there's way more that we don't know. But the point in us just talking about it here has been the unfair reporting, in my opinion, and I think most of our opinions, of like the one-sidedness of he's being tried more in the court of public opinion than he has been in actual court. The judge already took care of, and I think throughout a bunch of the cases, but yet he still settled with these women. But then you have again these sports news organizations on TV that are almost praising the NFL for stepping up and appealing. And then in some respects, this is how I viewed it. in some respects, they are like, please, Roger Goodell, be judge, jury, and executioner again. When they just left this because of unfair practices by the league's doing. And right now, Deshaun, though we're not saying he did, he didn't do, nor are we co-signing or picking a side. I'm just trying to objectively look at how they're presenting it to us as a people and trying to shape our minds behind this, because everybody's just going off of, well, there's 24 women, so this happened. No
Yeah,
burden of proof necessary. No, none of that. Yes, you can throw out there, but what if it was your daughters? If it was my daughters, guess what? I am fighting with the actual proof of this shit happened. Yes, will I take their word for it? Absolutely. I will be biased for my children. Yes, would I fight it? Yes. Yes, would I go out and try to hurt the man myself without dealing with the courts or the law? Yes, I would. Yes, I would, no matter what age my kids were. I am daddy. I'm going to play daddy for life. So if you are quote unquote raping my daughters out there via this type of, or what they're trying to perceive this to be, absolutely the mayor's coming for your ass. Pause.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. I
Eh,
think, I think. First off, he should never put himself in this position. That's the first. That's the first thing. You know, and where there's smoke, there's fire. It's not like he had 5 complaints, 4 complaints, 24 complaints. And you know, to be honest with you, he has a problem. And nobody's talking about if you can fix this problem that look like that he has.
You're right. Nobody's talking about fixing the problem.
Right.
Everybody's talking what you just said. In there's smoke, there's fire, and he deserves to be off another year or more or indefinitely just because there's 24 names that came out. Yeah,
And my thing is this here too. Listen, as a society, you know, when it comes to sexual assault of women or something to that effect, we don't we you know, we need to be more serious about this. Not and I mean, you know, of course, allegedly, not we, you know, we need to be more serious about this with women and stuff as far as what they go through. Somebody within that team, within that organization, should have checked Deshaun Watson a long time ago about this.
I said that.
Yeah, and should have been, hey, you know, what's up with this? What's going on? I need to know the truth behind this. Because
devil's.
see,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sorry.
part of the problem is with a lot of this stuff is it's a power thing. You think because you got money and stuff that you can get away with anything. And you know what I'm saying? Because you see other people get away with it. But you got to remember, you're black too. It's another thing too. So you're not going to get away but with so much. But you know, the bottom line is this here, man. Like I said, this guy has a problem. And before he plays any football, if it can be rectified, he needs to rectify this matter. Because you don't know what's going on in his head. We don't know what he is, because something worse could happen down the line. We don't know that. So that's my issue with this whole thing.
I'm with you. I'm just throwing the devil's advocate arguments out there. Not saying I co-sign this, people. I'm just throwing the argument out there because it
And
goes.
you know,
No, hold on a second. It goes both ways, JP. Is what I
it
want.
goes both ways. It goes both ways. I understand that. I understand people saying, "Oh, the man served a year," you know what I'm saying, and or whatever. But you got to understand something too. This is the NFL protecting its brand. No matter what they do, we know they're going to protect their brand, and that's exactly what they're doing. Let's keep it a buck. The NFL really gives a damn about what goes on.
No, but that's not where.
Why is because they got pressure. They're getting pressure.
No, and that's why I wasn't trying to spin away from the point I was trying to make. But no, I agree with you. Do they care? No, they don't care until shit hits the fan
Yep.
or shit comes to light. Let's just keep it real. But that's why I was trying to mention it goes both ways. How many of these women did try to go at him for whatever, taking advantage of his rub and tug illness? And I'm not even, it's not even an illness to go to rub and tugs. I'm just saying maybe at the frequency that they're trying to portray it as could be perceived as a problem. But also, you're a professional athlete who works out. Bodybuilders, thinking about people who work out, bodybuilders go for massages at least once a week. Depending on who they go to as a massage, it's up in the air. Should he have, if he, him as a pro athlete or whatever, should he have dealt with the team more? I would say absolutely. But thinking like a man for a second, if the
That's not why
masseuse,
he's going to those
as
gyms.
I'm saying, if he was the masseuse, if the masseuse was a man on the team, he's going to look for the woman because and then again, like you said, JP, black man. That cat, that's the overarching everything. Black man. Ain't no black man just going to easily let no other man rub on them that easy. Just saying that off the strength, being jokey too with it, but it's real shit. It's
Mm-hmm.
real shit. And yeah, if it's not a woman, of course they're gonna look for, and even too, they're gonna look for the professional outlet, that professional service, because they can afford paying a few $100s on top of tipping more for the extras because some people think the higher you pay or the more legit a service is, you're going to get legit 100% legit services. And man or woman, sometimes depending on the dollar amount that comes out, as the song used to say, bands will make them dance. It can happen. It can
Classic
happen.
song, by the way.
Juice, shout outs to Juicy J. But it happens on both ends of the stick. Oh, pause. Bands will make them dance.
So I mean, all right. So I mean, okay. How old is this son watching? Like 24, 25?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Maybe if I was 34, 35 or whatever, not married, of course, I would have said, all right, let me, I'm gonna secure your services. Hey, how much for the happy ending? That would have been that question right there. If he had asked that question, 9 times out of 10, it wouldn't be 24 women, trying to get paid off. Who knows? I mean, I don't know how morally righteous these women are, because he could have asked that question and they could have still been like, yo, you know what, you did XYZ, whatever the case is. So that's another question. We don't know, you know.
Right.
So I mean, it's I don't know.
There's a,
It's we
there's a
just have
lot
to
of
wait for it to come out, man. For it all to
yeah.
come out, you know.
There's a lot of details that we're missing, and I think I understand Dan's point on this trial by media, why it's a dangerous and slippery slope. Because the thing is, we don't have a lot of information on the folks who are accusing him of said crimes, which is huge.
Absolutely.
We always, the media tends to whoever the the person accused of said crime, they get dragged to the mud before there's even a trial. But you very rarely, get details on the accusers. And not saying the accuser should be dragged to the mud, but know exactly what it is. Let us know exactly what their complaints are. I'm still fuzzy on exactly what are they accusing him of exactly. Are they accusing him of rape? Is
To
he
my
being accused?
understanding, is sexual misconduct in a way. I'm not
And
hearing
that
the
could be
R word. I'm not hearing the R word at all.
that's
I'm
a
assuming it's just
sexual
sexual
misconduct.
misconduct.
Yeah, it's a
Too much
big,
of a gray
big,
gray
big
area.
thing. It could be as simple as like, hey, jerk the dick after, and somebody don't like that.
Right,
That's sexual misconduct, That's
right.
sexual misconduct. So the dangerous thing is the trial by media, which it's actually a Netflix series that deals with that. That was brilliant. That explains what happens where, before anybody even gets to court, they're already guilty. and how the court can influence, it ruins the jury pool. It does all these things. Um, we have so few details. I know the judges threw out a bunch of the complaints. Why? That's information we need to know. Why? I believe the FBI opened two investigations. One into the accusations against him, and also I believe they opened an investigation of somebody trying to extort him off the ship.
Right. Right.
But you don't hear that stuff, and it's that's the part that sucks about our current the trial by media thing is that the media pretty much picks right from the beginning who they're going to get behind, and we all know people lie. You can't just take people's word. I just can't do it because we already know how many people throughout history, how many people have been killed or jailed or thrown just based on somebody's word, and we can never go down that road. You take what somebody says seriously, you take the accusations seriously, but you let it play out in court and see
Right.
what's what. You let the evidence do it because do we have to revisit the Johnny Depp trial? Look at that shit.
Hmm.
Look at that. And I'm not here saying Deshaun Watson is this. No, because like JP said, clearly this motherfucker has a problem, and he
Mm-hmm.
has some money. His boys or his friends or that organization said, "Hey, Deshaun, there's some services we can get you on the low if you really want this thing for people who specialize in doing just that. There's no ambiguity about what they offer.
There's a website for that.
Yes. If you want, we got you, fam. But stop getting these strangers off the internet because these folks, they know money scams too.
Yeah, it looked like it was trying to hit like the IG models in a way, the way everything sound. But
Yeah,
that's the point of this discussion is how Jamal broke it down. We're not taking a side behind this, people. Anybody listening that wants to ride us, rag us, whatever the case may be. We're not taking a side in this. It's just pointing out the
yeah.
what's missing in these conversations on TV because we all just seen it. If you watched the Four Letter Network this week, and favorites of mine as far as women reporters are concerned, favorites of mine, you know, but they found a way to pull out every single woman reporter to mention something just because it was 24 women, but they didn't bring up the women, the everything Jamal mentioned, the FBI investigating some of these women, the cases that have been thrown out investigating some of these women. They don't mention the full story. Nobody's mentioning that he sat down all of last season, all of last season to add 6 more games onto a 17-game season. My math is slow. That's 23 games.
23.
23 games. We can't count the playoffs because the Texans were ass. So it was it'll be 23 games, 17 from the Texans, 6 with the Browns. This, which, by the way, if y'all didn't pay attention, they front loaded his first year of the contract with very little money. So if they did
I think it's
spend,
1 million. Yeah.
so if he did spend a year out, he's not taking the hit.
Yeah, it's not a big cap hit.
It's that too, but he's not taking a hit. The team's not taking a hit altogether. So if they give him a year, then it is what it is. He ain't losing shit. And then guess what? Now you're gonna be mad that he's back and he's getting paid when he's getting paid. So it's like, yo, report this. It's just report. Tell the story properly. This is why I love what we do, is because we're gonna, we could very well off this mic agree with everything that has been reported, but we're bringing you the other side that the normal talking heads ain't gonna give y'all, whether you choose to agree with it or not. And I'm not saying I 100% agree with. I'm just fleshing out loud to everybody what I've noticed, and I think what we've all kind of noticed.
Remember when old girl a couple of years ago was on that four letter show and she lost her job for not being objective? And it's like now everyone on the show was doing it. It's like she could crawl so everyone else could sprint. And it's mind boggling to me. I mean, you're right. I mean, if 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 you went in there with an objective mind, trying to decipher what's going on with this case, you're easily gonna get swayed. Watching that play and watching them. You know. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and that's literally all I wanted to get to out of that. Like, this is what was I went off of what was easily searchable, plus what we've been paying attention to, because when all this shit started, we said we was gonna keep up on top of this. Remember that, JP? And this has been almost a 2-year journey now, right? Okay, JP, I think we lost him. He's on mute. But anyway, something that we got to follow up from last week, because all the reports was showing that Brittany Griner was coming out.
Mm.
And then almost immediately after the show comes out, 9 years. She got
Shan,
sentenced 9.
you remember at the tail end of the show last week, I said, dog, is this really a done deal?
Right, which
Hmm?
we didn't know. We didn't know. We were going off of what was put out there.
Yeah, man. It's just they playing high stakes poker with a dude who trained his whole adult life to push the pot with a bad hand in Vladimir Putin, bro. And this motherfucker is winning the pot, playing around the poker with pocket twos, bro, and winning. So I knew he was going to raise the stakes, man. He's trying to turn this bad hand. Um, She gave her 9 years. That was on purpose because he knows we live in a free society. He wants to see just how much pressure how much empathy and sympathy the American people, the American government has. He's going to twist. He's going to drag the screws to her as much as he can to try and get the asset he wants in return. He's trying to put the Biden administration in an incredible bind, in which they're in right now, because the fact that they went public by saying they made a deal probably actually hurt them.
Yeah,
Heard who?
That they were trying to make a deal. So
hurt
they're
the
off of,
U.S.
yeah. hmm So they should have kept quiet about it in a lot of ways. But I know they wanted to silence the public because a lot of people was getting tight. They was like, and I get it, the pressure. The black women over there, everybody, is tighten up in arms. But he's dealing with a ruthless gangster.
Yeah, but
And
as
people. And
somebody's getting a call from Putin now. Shut this down. But JP, we haven't heard you on this in a minute at all, man. But this whole Brittany Griner situation, yo, is I mean, we thought we were up to BG's coming home, but then the monkey wrench got thrown in there with another family out there talking about, hold on a minute, my
yeah,
son's over there too.
Mm.
And then she just got hit with the 9 years, JP. So where you been at with all of this?
Um, look, she should definitely be. She. I mean, come on, man. Come on, this is marijuana we talking about. And she. I mean, look, we already know Russia is a racist country. Let's keep it 100. It is a lot of racism that goes on over there. It's not good for black people, and they're going to throw the book. They threw the book at her. Hopefully, she will be home. I actually heard. I was listening to the show yesterday, and he actually wrote an article. The great attorney in Philadelphia, Michael Cord, said he thinks she's going to get out in 30 days. That's what he said. But let me say this: we have to understand. There's two parts to this. First part, we have to understand that when you go outside of the United States of America, I want people to understand, I have a lot of issues that goes on with the United States of America because we already know this is an unjust system. Let me just say that straight up front. But we got to understand something. When you go out this country, every place is not like America. We have to understand that there's rules they go by. Russia is one of the most ruthless countries in the world. And somebody should have actually maybe lectured her before she went and stuff like that there, that, hey, listen, this is what goes on down there. You can't take this, that, and the third. She should have had an advisor, actually, to tell her what goes on there. You can't take this with you. She wouldn't be in this position as she is. Number two, on top, now here's the second part to this. the WNBA players going to Russia. They should never have happened. I agree. Understand that. I agree. But I keep hearing these people keep saying, oh, the reason why the women go over there is because they're not making enough money here, which is true with the WNBA, which is true. But we have to understand something too. These same people sit up here saying, oh, it's a shame how much these women are getting paid. Are you supporting these women? Do you go to the games? Do you buy the merchandise? You know, and then people get to stick with LeBron James. Well, you know, LeBron James makes this, that, and the third, and these women, he makes more than the whole WNBA. First off, number one, LeBron James is one of the most popular athletes in the world, if not the most popular athlete in the world. Second of all, he brings in income.
He generates more money.
Look at what happened. Look at what happened the first time when he left Cleveland.
Mhm.
They left out when he left Cleveland. They lost $500 million in revenue between bars, between the games, between restaurants. He was an economy into himself. That's why he makes the money he makes. That's why these players do. If people would support these WNBA players more than what they're saying, then guess what? They would have to go over to Russia or any place else. And hopefully they stay the hell out of Russia from here on in. But we got to understand this. It's not simply, and I understand women have it hard. I definitely understand that. I understand the sexism and stuff that women go through and everything. But we have to understand something too here now with this. Are you all supporting the WNBA the way you all claim you are? Because apparently it looks like you're not. And that goes for men or women who are on this state, on this kick about it.
JP, I gotta ask you, have you been listening to the last 2 weeks episodes?
I missed the last 2 weeks, brother, but
Okay.
I know you all on it.
I think you probably missed like the last month of episodes, but
Yeah.
exactly what you said is literally exactly how we felt
Yeah.
in a very condensed. And I had to let you get your shit off because it's been a while since you've been on the block. But literally, it's everything that we've mentioned so far. We've been mentioning, yo, you want to support the WNBA? Get on there and actually support the WNBA. Get out there to games. Start buying merch. Start
Mm-hmm.
demanding to see them more on your televisions outside of just ESPN
Yes.
or the occasional broadcast on Channel 7 or the occasional they'll give them the playoffs maybe on regular TV or the championship game on regular. Like
I mean,
there's some
I don't watch that much, but I do watch an occasional WNBA game. Definitely, I
oh
watch
yeah.
them. I watch, I love I love the way Candace Parker plays. She's real good. Wilson over there in Las Vegas. She's a great player. Skylar Diggs, Tarasi, man, look, Tarasi's one of the best ever, Sue Bird, all them. I mean, they have some great players in the league, but you have to support them. You have to support them. You have to go to these games, sell out these arenas and stuff. And the tickets aren't as much as the NBA games and stuff. So if you live in New York, LA, Washington, or whatever, y'all claim that these women are being treated unfairly, in which they are. I think they should get paid a little bit more money. They should be able to have a sustainable income where they don't have to go overseas and live a comfortable lifestyle. I definitely agree with that because NBA has a shitload of money. We understand that. But at the same time, though, you have to support these women, whether it's buying their shoes, buying their jerseys, going to these games, filling out the stadiums and stuff. Then they will be okay. It goes beyond making money on the basketball court. It goes into other factors.
Yeah, and again, you said you didn't listen to the last episodes, but I think you were in our brain because almost
Yeah,
word for word, we we said the same exact thing. So
yeah.
hopefully Brittany Griner makes it out
And I hope she comes home. She needs to be
on.
home. I definitely agree. And we all should be concerned about this. But at the same time, though, it's like I said, when she comes home, especially black people, stay the hell out of Russia. Stay the hell out of China and all these other countries and stuff. Please do, because you just sneeze, they're ready to put you in jail.
Yeah, but it's also if you want to travel, because I'm pro travel the world. If you could go to those countries, do that shit. Leave your American arrogance at home.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
There's
no
a
laws.
there's a reason why they say do do like the Romans do. If that's what they do in their country, do that shit.
Yep.
Walk a straight and narrow. Don't act like you are out here and you could just be, fucking
Yeah.
you're high and mighty and do whatever the fuck you think you do.
Take time to read up on their laws and all that.
Yep.
You know.
Have to.
Before you travel like anywhere. Because Jamal, what are them shows called that we be talking about all the time?
Locked up abroad, baby.
Locked up abroad. Yeah.
Abroad.
For
No,
real,
no pun intended, double entendre towards Brittany Griner with that.
Hey,
but
yo.
that's exactly what that,
Hey yo. Hey yo. But before we get into the tampering topic, there's a different level of tampering that I seen today on Instagram that I need y'all points of view on. This level of tampering is I coast
girls to be mothers, but not forcing the men to be fathers. This bill makes it illegal to prescribe, distribute, supply erectile dysfunction drugs or sexual impotency drugs. If, in fact, an unwanted pregnancy is an act of God, then impotency must be an act of God. I think that there should be some onus put on the men for these pregnancies. And I urge you to vote for this amendment.
I will measure my comments just because I don't want to get in trouble.
pause. She definitely had to throw a pause
So
in there.
at this time, we'll just leave it at that. Please oppose this amendment.
Further discussion on the amendment.
And she said that because she was thinking about all the dicks she would not be able to get at home if it wasn't for that Viagra. But what do you think about that rep's idea? And we're just gonna go around the table real quick. I personally applauded the shit out of it because if you're going to tell a woman what they can and can't do with their bodies by way of laws and rules, I think the same thing goes for us. If you can't get your shit up, then guess what? You can't fuck. Plain and simple. If you can't get your shit up, you can't fuck. And hey, guess what? Hey, you worried about getting a woman pregnant? Well, you can't get your shit up. Now try to get them pregnant. So it's a double-edged sword. Play at your own risk.
Sam.
Is introducing that part more out of spite? Because I don't know. I don't see what one has to do with the other. I mean, me personally, let me put it out there. Me personally, I have no need for that shit.
Let me. I neither do I. But let me show you how. Let me show you how these things connect.
Okay.
Ooh, it goes in. It goes in.
Mm-hmm.
What goes in? Now you're bumping clitorises.
True.
Sam, look, as much as that shit was suck, is it out of respite? Is it out of spite? Yep. Are they right? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If folks are gonna tell them what they should do with their bodies, then they have the absolute right to do the same. And it's end the story. To me, it's just that simple. So, but again, it always goes back onto a bunch of small, dumb states having too much power, affecting the culture for the entire country.
And pause small dick energy. Not that I'm experienced in playing with that to say that, but pause. You get what I'm saying.
It's like, yo, man. But they right. Yeah, they right. I mean, it's fucking absurd that even now in 2022, they writing legislation. They're just trying to roll back the clock and write legislation and tell them what to do with their bodies. Hey, fuck. We've been down this road already 50 years ago. Move on. You know what I mean? But I think they're absolutely right, man. If we're gonna tell them what to do with their bodies, then they are well within their rights to tell men what to do with theirs.
And boy, you're I can just imagine the amount of blowback for lack of a better word.
Pause.
I,
literal blowback.
I can just imagine. Oh no, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. From all those 3-letter news sites. I know it's coming. You know, they're gonna try and say that. Oh, one is well, that's one thing, and we need this, and
Come on.
that's where it's gonna go.
Well, their argument is going to be, well, one is trying to create families and the other one's trying to eliminate them, which is bullshit. And that's the argument they always going to try and pull at, Bible thumping high road, which is bullshit because the politicians that write these laws are the most scandalous motherfuckers in the world. Have the most abortions, use the most
Mm-hmm.
drugs,
Mm-hmm.
they're all into it. I mean, it's just like the same thing with all those politicians who are horribly homophobic, horribly want to put all this legislation anti homosexual legislation. How many of those dudes ended up? We found out ended up being part of that community themselves.
Yeah.
Man, listen,
You know what I mean?
and dude, we didn't even go there yet, but it came out like a week or so ago. I think we dropped it in our group chat. What's that quote unquote pastor? Black
Rim,
dude,
what's his name?
the
Yeah,
black dude that hates black people, that looks like with the raccoon eyes and got caught out there by his lover.
yes, sir.
Yeah, that shit is real. But JP, your thoughts on all this shit, man?
Man, look, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's simple.
Right.
It's simple as that.
Right.
I mean, this whole thing with abortion and stuff. I mean, some of this stuff is going. And understand something here. I'm gonna be frank with you. Look. I'm against abortion, but guess what? That's between the person, their maker, and their creator. I have no problems. They get it or not. That's their own private business. If they get it or not. Let me say that right there. Let me be clear on that. But another thing with this whole thing is too, a man should have no right to sit here and tell a woman with her body. I mean, some of this stuff is absurd. I mean, if you look at some of these policies they're writing, if a woman, like say for instance, if a child gets raped or a youngster gets raped or whatever, they gotta keep that. I mean, these people are sick.
Yeah,
These are some sick bastards who are writing some of this stuff, and I think it all has to come down to this here. Especially, I'm talking about these men, right wing men. I'm talking about old right wing men because they can't get their shit up. They can't do anything. They want to punish everybody else, and that's what they doing. It's just because they can't do anything. Their impotent ass can't do anything. They want to punish it. A man should have no right whatsoever to sit up here and tell a woman what to do with her body, and then to sit up here and try to make it a felony even if you get an abortion. But other thing, you get an abortion, you get raped. It's sick. These are some sick bastards we dealing with. Period.
I agree with that 100%, and I share your passion as well.
Well, we are on the Viagra though. We are on the Viagra, the Cialis, all the penis pumping, all the.
Yeah, I'm
all
glad
the,
I ain't
all
got that
the,
problem.
all the
You know,
say all
Let
the
me tell you
street
something,
overload
man.
pills, all the street overload pills at the gas station.
At the
All
gas
them
station.
shits. The little rhino joints at the gas station.
What's the new one?
All
The
them
honey. I see them talking about that shit. The honey and all that.
pink horsepower.
Remember back in the day, Stone?
Back Spanish fly, all that. Get all that shit off the shelf in those states. If you
Let
are
me tell you
banning
something,
abortion
man.
in your
Hey,
states, get all the male
shout
infinite
out to Henny
drugs
though.
off of
Shout
it.
out to Henny.
Hey, that
Henny in the
there
blunt.
there could be a negative or positive when it comes to the hen rock though. It could go both ways with the henny. And when
Give
the
them
henny's in
women
the system,
whatever they
ain't no
want.
Ain't no
telling.
telling.
Let them have whatever they want, bro. Because let me tell you something. If I get to a point in my life and that time comes and we may all hit that shit, look, if I'm gonna need to get something, I won't be able to go get something. Hands down. Hands down. I ain't even gonna front about it. So give the women whatever they want.
So good thing we all live in states without them dumbass trigger laws that snapped back to the fucking Handmaid's Tale era of the country. You know what I'm saying? So we're good with that, man. But what we're not good with is NBA and tampering. Like, yo, this shit is dumb. This shit is dumb.
Yeah.
It's literally like, okay, you're going to get in trouble because, hey, this person still got 2 days left on their contract with their team. I can't talk to them for 2 days, i.e., like what our Knicks are going through. And even your Sixers are going through it, JP, which is just as dumb as the Knicks one. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Stupid.
Leon Rose represented this kid, Brunson's father, Rick Brunson. He represented his father. His father got a job with the Knicks. I mean, if you want to play connect the dots to quote unquote tampering, that is like a puzzle piece of 4 blocks with no sides and edges that you got to fit into specific. They just fit perfectly in a square. You
Yes, sir.
could call that tampering all fucking day just because of their relationship, but they never spoke a word. But just because of their relationship, you could call that tampering. It's silly. Or like what's going on with your Sixers, JP, with James Harden. He was already there, but they can't talk about new contract talks while he's there. Like, this is the dumb shit that's going on with the, like, what is the point of this, NBA? What is the point of this? I don't know. JP, maybe you have an answer, but I don't know. I just think all this tampering talk is stupid.
Yeah, I agree, man. Because players, look, let's be honest. There is no tampering with this because the players, as far as I'm concerned, were going to go where they were going to anyway. Period.
Right.
And they were not. They were. Jalen Brunson was not going to re-sign with Dallas, and we knew James Harden was going to re-sign with Philly when he was there. And we know him and PJ Tucker are tight. Him and Eddie House is tight. So of course they all want to go there. I mean, who wouldn't want to go there to play with Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and them? I mean, come on, man. Come on, NBA. I mean, and let's be honest. I'm even going back further than that. It was, I mean, the NBA was the same one that stopped the trade from Chris Paul going to the Lakers and play with Kobe, you know. And look, you know, I'm not a Lakers fan by any means. I respect it, but you know, I'm not a Lakers fan. But come on, man. Really? Really, you're going to block a trade that was on the books, but you're going to block them from going to play with Kobe in LA, which, you know, it's like, oh, man. I love the NBA, and don't get me wrong. I love what Adam Silver's doing. I love the league. I love what the front office is doing. They're the most diverse sport, the most diverse sport in sports as far as I'm concerned. I like, you know, the stuff that they do, but come on, NBA. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. Come on. There's nothing really to investigate.
Up to me, it's up to me. They just need to just do it with tampering altogether. I mean, I watch like I said, like I mentioned before, I watch EPL, I watch Spanish Premier League. They don't mess with tampering at all. Like, teams talk to players on contract all the time over there, and the world keeps spinning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jalen Brunson's situation. So what now? He can't talk to his father? Like, so if the Knicks
Fucking dumb.
you know what I'm saying?
They hired his dad, bro.
Rick Brunson, he can't talk to his father. That sounds crazy. You know, like, what are we talking about here? You know
what
I
we're
mean,
talking about is Mark Cuban got his panties in a bunch. Who's probably the king of Mr. Tampering, but he got mad, and I think he went to the front office and started raising shit behind the scenes. My personal opinion.
Wow, it's ridiculous, man. I mean, I say do away with that tampering nonsense altogether. You know,
keep your players happy. You don't have to worry about it.
Say again.
I said keep your players happy, and you don't have to worry about the issue.
Right.
You know, but they're gonna go people gonna go where they want to go. They want to play with their friends, and they want to play where they can get paid.
Yep. These guys, look, we got to understand something too. These guys go on vacation with each other. They talk all the time, even during the season. They text all the time. They talk and everything. And it's like, come on, man. Come on, you really think that's tampering? These guys grew up in the AAU system now together, whereas years ago you didn't have this. AAU's a big thing. They play on the same AAU teams and stuff. I mean, look, the landscape is different than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's different.
Right. So exactly. Just like you're saying, you have players talking to other players. So that right there, players talking to other players is not tampering. If it's player on player, it's considered not tampering. But if it's league official, I mean, if it's team official talking to a player when he's on contract, then that's tampering. Even if that's your father, and that's like, are you serious? You know.
What gets me is
That's
this. It's funny how there's always a free market and capitalism is always okay until it concerns young black athletes trying to manage their own future.
Yeah.
Talk on it.
Yeah. And they're really mad about these NIL deals going down right now. They're really mad about that. These kids making that, and this is some shit that should have going down years ago. But I'm glad they finally put it in place where these cats are getting paid in high school and college. They're bringing in all kinds of money.
Yep. But that was the funniest shit saying, and clear as day. You're telling me NBA I can't talk to my father because he works for a team? Fuck you. Like, fuck you. I can't talk to my dad. Like, come on now. You got to be bugging. That's just yeah. Like Skip Bates used to say, that's ass a 8, ass a 9, ass a 10. That is just dumb.
It's ass or something.
Yeah, but there's no need to go further on the tampering shit because it's, like I said, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Like, all right, now you're confiscating probably cell phone records and text message records. What if the whole text message thread was, yo, so what you doing during summer vacation? I'm going to the rubbing tub, but I'm not gonna get caught like Deshaun Watson. Like what's that? What if that's the thread? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, what did you now you just seen that. You just seen meat pics that somebody was sending to somebody else or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just butt into shit because I talked to my father. Like, that's simple. It's so
It's crazy.
But now we're going to close this out. We got to talk about the true Lord of the Rings. Rest in peace and condolences to Mr. Bill Russell. Now, excuse the elements because, as we mentioned before, the rain decided to come this way to Staten Island. But I had to, when looking up Bill Russell and making the show image, first thing I typed in was Bill Russell rings. Because I had to show that man holding all 11 chips in his hand. And then while doing the image search, somebody decided to, there's one image that it showed Jordan 6 versus Bill Russell's 11. And the caption said, Jordan's meant more than Bill Russell's.
Stop.
And I get it because he went 3 for 3 2 separate times. But let's count the years and let's get the consecutiveness of how many championships was won. 1957, 59. Here's where the run goes. 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66.
Conversation's over right there.
68 and 69.
It's over.
Who won in 67?
Sixers. The only person to stop Bill Russell in the whole entire decade was Wilt Chamberlain. The only one.
Yeah.
All them great players you had back then, he was the only one. The only team that stopped it was the 67 Sixers. The only one. And the reason why they probably didn't repeat in 68 was because Billy Cunningham broke his arm in the playoffs.
And so with that being said, once again, remind me of how 6 championships in 4 years is better than winning the championship an entire fucking decade.
Yeah.
Like an entire decade.
Yeah.
An entire decade.
What they do is that the arguments towards the Jordan apologists, they skew the argument by devaluing the level of player in the NBA at the time Bill Russell was winning.
Yes.
But he was in the NBA in the era of that monster we know as Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I mean?
Elgin Baylor.
Come on.
Oscar,
Come on.
Jerry
Come on.
West.
Come on.
They were all
And,
there.
let's be clear. Let's be clear, right? You know, let's bring up the elephant in the room here. You're talking about the '60s. So off the court, I'm dealing with that other bullshit. I'm dealing with bullshit,
That's right.
you know. And then so now I have to block all that out, play at the top of my abilities, play the and beat all these guys year after year after year. Like that says something, in my opinion.
Marquardt,
Dude,
it's not even
people
blocking
shit
it out.
in his bed.
Bill was neck deep
They
in the
like
struggle.
they shit it in his bed,
Neck deep in the struggle, and he was playing in Boston. And still went out there and performed.
in Boston.
And see, like people to say that stuff, man. And you know what? I know I ain't been on here for a minute, but and you know what? I like him, but this is the shit that I talk about. JJ Reddy. He comes on and talks about Bob Cousy. Oh, he played against a bunch of plumbers and firemen and stuff like that. First of all, that's disrespectful to people who actually have jobs like that and do that for a living. That's number one. Number two, on top of that tier two, this is why you have so many people out here nowadays who all they know about is shit that happened in the last 5 years, not even 10 years ago, and think everything is so damn great. We got to understand something. First off, those players back in the 50s, 60s set the foundation for your ass to get on ESPN if you were to make a damn living in the NBA. Those same damn plumbers and firemen that you talk about sat there and paid the foundation for you. Nobody talks about, like you said, Bill Russell and what he stood for. And not only that there, these players talk about what they go through and these fans saying something. Can you imagine going to every game and being called a nigger, even in your own home court? Probably calling you nigger away and on the road. You can't go to certain hotels because you're black. And he even led the way. He said, listen, I'm not playing any games if I can't stay in this hotel or can't be served in this restaurant. Bill Russell said that. These players, they talk about, oh, what I go through. You ain't been through shit compared to what those players went through. Like you said, the man sat up there, got his house broken into. They shit it in his bed. Wrote the nigger all over the front of his house and everything. And this man was leading Boston to championships.
Yeah.
Championships. He went through all that shit. So I'm not trying to hear this bullshit and they try to spin on you today. Oh, there's a bunch of firemen and plumbers and all this other shit, man. Come on, man. Respect those men. Those men paved the way for your ass to be where you're at today. If it wasn't for those men from back in that era, the NBA wouldn't be where it's at. Read the damn Oscar Robertson rule. The reason why these players can enjoy charter airplanes, private airplanes, 5-star hotels, because those players paved the way, like Oscar, Bill Russell, Wilt, Cousy, Elgin Baylor, all them. Come on, man, you off their backs.
And we could throw it back at this era and say, look at y'all panty, freaking Victoria's Secret lace draw soft ass players now. Because y'all can't.
I'm not going to do that.
No, what I'm saying, if you want to throw it back in their faces, look at these fools when they get fouled and they get breathed on. They're doing the fucking Neymar flop.
Well, that's the NBA's fault though.
Hey, that is, and then they finally took it away, and we seen what happened with James Harden and his scoring and his production. It's changed.
Yeah.
Harden was hurt. We'll see what happens, but that's
we're not. Exactly. You didn't have to bring that up at all because this shit happened before he was a Sixer, JP. So you don't have to defend him.
I am.
Exactly.
So I have a question. I have a question though. I have a question. Right? Is going back to what JJ Redick said. Was it more because he said Bill Russell was playing against firemen? Well, Bob Cousy was playing against firemen and all that. Was that a literal sense, or was that just because the level of play was not what it is now, or what it was back in the late '90s?
That's his interpretation, but the level of play, the skill set, that's his interpretation. The level of play, the skill level hasn't changed. Actually, if you really want to break it down, you may say they play more skilled basketball. They relied less on athletics and more on knowledge of the game and basketball IQ and fundamentals. So It was just an ill-advised statement from JJ Redick, who's fitting in nicely into the ESPN pundit mold. So, and he made that statement. It was just a bad statement.
Let
And
me let me
hold
say
on,
this.
JP. I was going to add on. I want to add on too before you roll too. It's literally just people forget to look at the game in eras and in decades. Hence
Yep.
why when we have those greatest ever conversations, when it comes to basketball, it's the most difficult because the game truly has changed
Yep.
It changes.
almost
Yep.
almost every decade. NFL football, we could kind of say the same as far as the way the game's changed, but it took a little longer for football to change because it's still the same thing: run, tackle, pass. Basketball,
Oh,
it's dribble,
yeah.
dribble, shoot. You know, but the I would say the talent and skill levels of what a basketball player's abilities are have advanced way more over the decades. So where
Mm.
yes, you had to be technically and fundamentally sound in those later eras to where in these times you gotta the technical ability is kind of displayed differently from my opinion. Like the technical ability of how you dribble is one thing. How you shoot, all the sports science that gets put into just your shot alone has changed dramatically over the years. Let's remember we watched the sports science thing when ESPN had it when Klay Thompson hit like 7 out of 10 three-pointers blindfolded. You know what I'm saying? Because just it's just there's different levels to the shooting ability. Oh, we're talking Klay Thompson. We're thinking 3-pointers. There was no 3-pointer in those eras until I
Correct.
don't remember. JP probably remembers exactly what year. I think it was until the 70s, right, JP?
79,
Is it 80?
79, I think was the
79?
first
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
It
So
Yeah.
was, it was a 3-point shot. But I was gonna say this
so
as well. I'm
one
gonna
last thing,
piggyback.
one last thing, and then piggyback. Think about all the points scored and all these stats and stuff that has been accumulated with no 3-point line. So talk all the shit you want.
That's yeah.
The game is now there in your hands to demolish records that happened in the past because
Them high-ass scoring
this
NBA games back
they
then,
didn't
man.
have the
Shit.
same technology and the same fucking
Mhm.
you know. Let's think about overtimes and shit like that, and they would go for days. Or thinking about it in like the boxing sense. Boxing, you're getting
15 rounds it
six
used to be.
six to
15
12 round
rounds, bro.
fights. 15 rounds before that, it would be till somebody literally died in the ring. Like, you know what I'm
Not
saying?
only that, with boxing, the weigh-in used to be the day before the fight. So
Mm,
that rehydration wasn't happening like it is now. So, you're not fighting at 147 and coming in at 160.
right. But
Yeah.
so the point is this, like, yeah, the game has advanced in so many different ways. And I
Right.
think more in basketball than in any other place.
Agreed.
More in
But
basketball.
I was gonna say this, piggyback off what you said too. People gotta understand something. People sit here and laugh. Oh, look how they shot. Look how they played this. You gotta understand something. If LeBron James was born back in that era, he wouldn't be what LeBron James is today. You got to understand that. Nutrition, there wasn't no nutritionist back then. Weight training, I mean, yeah, they had weights, but not the way they have now. Gyms and stuff. There was no damn gyms back then to work out. Charter airplane flights, they flew on flights with me and you. And some nights you get to go back to back nights on a charter flight, 3 or 4 games in a row. And you got to understand something. These players today, they talk about, oh, I would have killed back then. No, you wouldn't, because you wouldn't be the same size as you are today back then. The food has changed. Technology has changed. And you know what? And to piggyback off what Jamal just said, too, okay, these players got all this advanced science, all this, technology, nutrition stuff. How the hell did Wilt Chamberlain play 48.5 minutes a game one year?
Hmm.
And the only reason why he went out was for 7 minutes because I forgot he got into an altercation or something like that. He never found out of a game. How do you explain a man back in the 60s playing 48.5 minutes a game? These cats nowadays can't even play 35 minutes a game with
But
all this advanced technology.
that and
Time too,
that
though.
and that goes to though the advanced technology because sports science has shown all that wear and tear is not good for you.
Got
You
load
know,
management.
and that's the difference to where, yeah, we look at it as major heroic shit that these guys used to, in those eras, used to be able to go forever. But when you look at some of them walk now, when you look at some of their hands, their feet, things like that, these people are destroyed,
Yeah.
which then turns to we're crying about how they're not being taken care of properly by these leagues post retirement. And that's one of those things we could throw at the NFL, which had what was it for a few years back had to throw 750 million to all retired players that are still living because of health care and stuff like that. Because the medical advantages of now compared to then, yeah, good for you. You was able to go back in the game after you cut your finger off.
Yeah.
But how
Right.
has post career been since? You know what I'm saying? You've went in. I bung. I got a fucking concussion now, but I can read two fingers up. You know what I'm saying? How many fingers do I got up, Jello? All right, get back in the game.
Yeah, that's what they used to do. But you, you
You know something I saw today? Watching first take. The Rams, and I'm assuming that all teams are doing this in the NFL. The Rams practice. They have their helmets on, and they have these big ass pads, look
Yeah,
like mushrooms. Like, and I'm like,
all
yo,
teams got that. All
right,
teams got
right,
that.
right. And so I'm like, man, why did it take so long for these guys to come up with something like this? You know what I'm saying? And to basically piggyback off what you're saying, with the advancements and shit, like I see it. We see it firsthand now. You know,
Just to point
Think
something out
about
real quick.
the
Um,
leather helmets. Like
yeah,
like you
exactly
bashing
what.
head. Go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah, exactly. But just to point out, like Wilt Chamberlain was the size and strength of today's athlete without the science. Imagine Wilt Chamberlain in this era.
man, he'd be illegal.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
I get it.
You
He'd
see
be
how
maybe
much he
15
illegal.
was
points a
benching,
game.
how fast he ran the 40, how much he was benching back then. It's crazy. It's equivalent to what these guys are doing now with
So
far
what?
less
Maybe
nutrition.
15 points a game.
And
Maybe.
on top of that, he was
Nah, yeah,
bedding
if he gets the
1,000
ball.
chicks a week. No, I'm just messing.
Yeah,
Because of the way they shoot the 3-point ball, Wilt would probably give you maybe 35 or 40. But if you play the era where the big man would be dominating instead of the game would be more inside out, man, you talk about 55, 60 points a game, man. Easy, man. But the game is more perimeter.
a reach.
No, because the game's more perimeter oriented. That's why I said that. They
All
shoot
right,
Thank
more
you,
but
Steph.
3-pointers. But anyway, we're not talking about Wilt. But anyway, back
no,
to
no,
Bill
no,
Rupp.
no, no. Yeah, we're not talking about Wilt, but you're not running away from that so easy. Because like Jamal just said, the players he would match up with the players now. Though the center position ain't the same, he is going to be facing a lot of players with the same speed.
No, he's not.
And yes, he would
No,
be.
he's not. No, he's not. Show me a center that can run a quarter in 49, 48 seconds the way he did. Show me a center that can run the 200 meters in 22 seconds. Come on,
Now,
man.
no, all right. I'll give you. You know what? I'll shut up and I'll give you that. But because once again, the eras and generations that people grew up in. If Wilt grew up in this generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have been a track athlete like that. He wouldn't have been able to throw shot put and shit the way you taught me years back about having him throw shot put. He would have been centralized in basketball, just like how all of these kids who make it go through the AAU system and aren't multi-sport athletes anymore.
I agree with that. That's a good point.
That's a generational difference that we have. Like I would say, quote unquote, with the exception of you, JP, because you was there with Wilt and them. Nah, I'm joking, but but we are kind of that last true era that the people who grew up in the 90s, the 80s, and even some early 2000s people are some of those last generations of kids who were allowed to play multiple sports in high school and or just growing up as a whole. So
But
these are all rabbit hole factors that we got to talk about when we try to shame the past, but also try to, say shame the kids nowadays thinking, oh, they can't hang with such like we said with Wilt, Take LeBron in that era with this same basketball ability, and he would eat just the same. If we were looking at it outside of or even within the same somewhat parameters, like it goes back and forth. There's generational talent that separates
LeBron wouldn't be as
themselves,
big as he is if he played back then, and he wouldn't be the point guard.
possibly.
Remember, Magic was really the first true 6'8" over point guard that we saw. That was back in what, late 70s, early 80s. But I wanted to make this point about Bill Russell too. A couple
Yes,
points
let's
about
get
Bill.
back to Bill.
Bill Russell, 18 championships in 21 years, high school, college, pros, and Olympics.
It's crazy.
Greatest resume
It's
in sports,
crazy.
team sports history by far. But this is the thing I didn't know about until this morning. I started listening to, of course, the master Sonny Hill, and he had a gentleman on named Jim Myers, who's a sportscaster in Boston and stuff, and he was tight with Bill Russell. Yo, I did not know that Boston Celtics did not give Bill Russell a statue until 2013. President Obama gave him the statue, the Freedom Medal honors before that. Larry Bird got a statue in Boston before him, and even the statue of Bill Russell is not at the Garden. It's down at City Hall. How is this man who brought you 11 championships in 13 years didn't get a damn statue? I love Larry Bird. Larry Bird's one of my favorite players ever. We got a statue before him? Bill Russell was the damn foundation of your franchise. Are you kidding me?
Are you surprised?
I know that, but
No, I'm not
JP
surprised.
though,
It is Boston, but I'm just saying. But although to be fair, the Boston Celtics was not a racist organization. Red Auerbach was the first person to have an all-star in 5. They were the first to have a black head coach, which was Bill Russell, player coach. So I mean, the Celtics overall wasn't racist, but the city was racist.
And there's your answer to why he didn't get the statue. Plain and simple.
you know, and in all fairness, Rocky had a statue in Philly before
For
many
Joe
of
Frazier. Ain't that
saw
shit
that.
crazy? Joe Frazier was real, and Rocky got a statue before Joe Frazier. Ain't that shit crazy? A fictional character in a damn movie got a statue before Joe Frazier, who he's basically based off of.
Man,
Come
bro.
on, man.
Well, you're right. I never
Come
even
on,
made
man.
that connection about who he's
Come
based off of. He's absolutely based off Joe Frazier.
Mm-hmm.
Come
Wow.
on, man.
They'll say it's what's his name? That white dude that fought Ali.
Chuck
That's what
Wepner.
they want you to believe.
Webner.
Yeah.
No, that was Frazier. Even the way he fights, Rocky fights. Yeah, that's Frazier.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that you answered your own question on the Bill Russell not getting the statue, which, yes, it's absolutely foul. It's fucked up. And that man owns more than half of your championships alone, even one as a player coach. But you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's racism. It's bigotry. It's the fact that he was a black man who dared to stand up for himself and stand up for his people. So shame on him. And literally that's kind of how they would say it. Shame on him for standing up for himself. Shame on him for standing up for people that look like him. Shame on him for calling out your atrocities while winning championships and making y'all look great.
Yeah.
For a whole decade. Tell me where again. And this wasn't to shame Jordan at all, because Jordan is greatness. But tell me again where literally owning a decade is not better than 6 years in a decade. I'll wait.
Yeah, there is no excuse, and it's a shame that in his passing, maybe now that'll change these GOAT arguments, potential GOAT arguments.
It's
But
not.
again,
It's not.
It's
And
actually
I'll explain.
irresponsible and it's shameful.
And can I say,
I'll explain why. Go ahead, JP, and then I'll explain why it's not.
Can I say one thing too? One of the things that disappointed me with the sports channels across the board was, you got these reporters up there who never really had a day, Bill Russell to say that did not do one interview with him. This is to tell you about Bill Russell, but yet and still, they didn't have none of his former teammates on there, like Sat Sanders. They didn't interview him. They didn't interview Oscar Robertson, Bob Cousy. and then these guys that played with him and stuff. I have a problem with that. How in the hell
ESPN
you gonna have Michael? And I don't have a problem with it. But how in the hell you
ESPN
gonna?
did talk to Oscar Robinson
They
actually.
did. Okay,
Yes,
okay, yeah, they did. But my thing is this here. But the first thing they did was how the hell you have Michael Jordan speak about Bill Russell before Oscar Robertson though? I mean
because
that makes no damn sense.
all they do is they'll try to go to whoever the quote unquote biggest name is, the biggest personality, to just draw the attention to the network. It's just like the comparison, it's like how the WWE brings in these celebrities. Bring your 20 million Instagram followers along and come get in this ring. So they're going to reach out to who they think is the biggest names in sports and the biggest instead of trying to reach out to the people who were there that are still alive right
Right.
next to them.
Exactly.
It makes total sense, JP, but it don't make sense in their eyes because the name you just mentioned, I didn't know who the fuck he was when you said it, but he was there with Bill Russell. Yeah, I would rather hear from that person, but is he going to draw ratings? No, because they don't know who he is. But Michael Jordan, oh shit, Mike's on TV. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And I forgot the point I was gonna make, but it is what it is. It is what it is, y'all. And it sucks, but we all go through it in life. And yeah, Bill Russell should be in the GOAT conversations. I mean, he's in the conversations, but it's the disrespect of, like we said, the plumbers and shit like that, the teachers' comments.
I,
It's
I
the
Yeah, it's just devaluing the
yeah,
greatness
I'll,
of
I'll
a
be
lot
honest
of
with you.
players.
My opinion, I think the average fan relies so much on numbers, right? So when you put Bill Russell's numbers up against a Shaq number, Shaq's numbers or Jordan or whoever the case is, it doesn't on paper it doesn't add up. His 16 and what 16 and 14. And even at the time when he began playing, they weren't counting blocks. You know, so looking at his numbers, and then looking at Shaq's numbers, he'll never, unfortunately, he'll never be in that same category to Joe Smith, Joe Public. Looking at the numbers and like, oh, Shaq's a better player. Not knowing that Shaq didn't give a fuck about his body. He didn't care about practice. He didn't. And Bill Russell busted his ass for, like you said, for a decade. You know,
I'm gonna say, but you know what? Outside of scoring, Bill Russell's numbers were better than Shaq across the board and anybody else. Bill Russell actually grabbed over 20,000 rebounds in his career. He actually averaged 22 rebounds a game, 21.5 rebounds a game for his career. And you want to
Mhm.
talk about shot blocking? It was easily at least 10 a game. So he gave you, like you said, he gave you 16 points, but he gave you a triple double basically for his career. He averaged like 4 assists a game. He was a great
Right,
passer, but he
right, right,
always
right,
said
right.
as well. He always said as
Uh,
well that he didn't have to score when you got 8 other Hall of Famers. So he was more of a team
yeah.
player than he was to score. You had eight other Hall of Famers bringing guys off the bench, so he didn't have to score. The way he did. His focus was on defense and rebounding and stuff. And he grabbed. I mean, what's his career high in rebounds? Like 41. Shit's crazy. It's
Crazy
that's
number like
that's
that.
crazy.
and it goes back to this is why these arguments are always skewed, is because it's a generational thing. That's why I've always said there's no one overarching GOAT in sports that everybody can unitedly agree on. Yes, does a large majority of people agree it's Jordan? Absolutely. But when you
Mhm.
really look at it and boil it down, it's literally because you grew up in his era.
Yeah.
You grew up in his era where he was king.
Hmm.
It really does that. Now, yeah, when some of the older players who are in the league will also say that's Jordan, I'll give them their respect because they played. One, they played the game. Two, they've seen the dynamics between the separate eras, and it was a we've never seen anything like him before. But when you break it down like we did earlier today, and you talk about the little minutiae here and there about how the games evolved, how the games changed, how the games developed, and all of that stuff, the breakdown is totally it should open people's eyes up to make people look at things totally different.
Yeah,
If you
I tend
look
to
at
defer
things
to
totally,
the older heads anyway because they've witnessed and been fans of basketball throughout the different eras. So they've
Mhm.
seen the game changes. They've seen the folks who've actually elevated the game, the players who had to invent it from scratch. It's almost like hip hop when you've seen hip hop from its infancy and you've seen the MCs who gave birth to other types of MCs a generation later, who didn't have anybody to inspire them to do it that way. So you know, there is some respect amongst longevity amongst the folks
You
who've been
know,
able to watch the different eras
when
go.
it
Jamal, you
comes
know
to
what?
rap,
You hit the nail on the head with that, right? Because that's like what you were Dan is saying is like when you have rappers like Nas and Jadakiss and all them say, yo, J. Cole's that next dude. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what you guys are saying. You know, with the older players, anointing this guy Jordan or whoever, say, yo, you know what, this is the next guy right here. So that's pretty much what y'all saying, yeah.
yes, but because you talk about rap, it's different when you have a KRS-One still alive and still showing
Him,
he could bust your ass from '88 till 2022. You know what I'm saying? Rakim hasn't changed much. You know what I'm saying? But KRS-One semi-evolved with the times. You got a Jay-Z who's evolved with every decade. You know what I'm saying? Hate him or love him. You got a Fat Joe and a Busta Rhymes who've learned to evolve with each decade. You know, we still have people from our era who's actually grown with it. And
Mhm.
there's a difference with that also.
that's
That's
very
why it's a
true. There's still a thumbprint. Like you remember hit rap before Rakim and after Rakim, and that's what I'm talking about as a person who just changed the game, a game changer in that respect. You know, there it just it with him and actually also throw a Coogee rap in there. You know, the way motherfuckers was rhyming before these dudes came out, and then to after these came out, it changed the entire.
and since we're talking history, the real first change was the Busy B versus Kumo D battle.
Yeah, that's right. The battle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kumo
Yep.
D started the change of that led into the KRSs and the Rakims and
Hmm.
all that.
Yeah.
Then they became the next markers. And so it's different for that case because for the most part, we were alive to see it. Hip hop as a culture is just about to be 50 years old in a couple of years.
It's a half century. Yeah.
You know, and
Mm.
we've all kind of witnessed it to an extension, or you're like a person like myself who's 42 and went backwards to learn more, because that's another aspect of it all. A lot of people don't want to go back and do homework on stuff. They want to take what's given to them right in their face. This is what they see. This is the greatest thing I've ever fucking seen, and that's it. And then it starts from there. So you gotta want to go back and do the homework and learn about a person like Bill Russell to further appreciate. Now, unfortunately, you have to do it posthumously, but nonetheless, you're still gonna learn some shit that is gonna make you say, "All right, you know what? Maybe I have to go rethink all of this. Maybe I gotta reevaluate." And
Yeah.
stop with that bullshit argument of playing the plumbers and firemen and cops and teachers and yeah, so what? They didn't make the same money to where they had to work another job off the court.
Well,
That
they
happened. You got
play
to do what you got to do to
because of their
support a
time.
fucking
That's it.
family.
It's just like
Yep.
again,
Goes back to the
again,
Brittany Griner argument.
you play against the people of your time. You know what I mean? You play against the people of your time, and that's all you can do.
That's it. That's my shit right there that I say all the time. You and JP knows for the 7 years, almost 8 years of doing this show, I've always preached, JP, you play who's in front of you.
Yep.
And that's it. And that is literally it. This was a good one. I threw up a little test thing on Twitch, so hopefully now we can just start to make a push to get more people that are on Twitch to come rock with us through Twitch. We're going on YouTube. It's still fuck Facebook, but if you want to join the group, hit that QR code. You want to follow us on everything else, hit that QR code on the top corner there. You can put it right up to your screen. It'll pop the link up as soon as you open your camera. Make sure you do that. JP, the part-time resident now.
Oh man, yeah, it was a hell of a show today. Shout outs, of course, you to the Bear. Shout outs to Jamal. Shout outs to the newest member, Big O, brother TJ. Know you out there somewhere. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to the people who continue to support.
TJ here, he out there dodging the rain like a light-skinned dude. Prancing through the drops. Oh, it's on you.
Yo, man, it was a great show, man. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this, man. Shout out to everybody here. You know, JP, I just met, man, but I agree with a lot of your, I share a lot of your views. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, Jamal, yeah, you already know, brother. We'll get up, man. Dan, thank you again for having me on here, man. I appreciate it.
Man, listen, it's literally been a month straight, and when Jamal hit me up saying, "Yo, you're now a part of this team unless you fuck it up." It's literally the same. It's literally the same thing that Jamal said, because Jamal came through and was like, "Yo, I got some ideas which we still got to work out," but I was just like, it was literally like, "Yo, you want to bring and add value to this? You're a part of this team." And JP knows, because we started this together. I've always wanted to expand this because I don't look at it as it's just a me thing. Nah, I want to take good people and great people along with me, and let's
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Jamal witnessed it this year with Philly Cigar Week.
Yes,
He
sir.
didn't see when we was doing our thing, but he's seen how we're moving around, and everybody showing love to us, everybody giving mad props to us and shit like that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, there's something. We still got something. We still struggling for the support, but we still moving things along. I'm promoting this shit every day via TikTok because everybody knows, oh, the Star Five podcast, Star Five, when they see it. So hopefully more people start matriculating over. But you wanted to be a part of this. You've been consistent. Just remain consistent with us, and you are forever going to be a part of this.
Appreciate that.
Yep, Jamal.
Cool. No, appreciate everybody, man. Great show again today. Chopping up some good topics, and doing some deep dives and some stuff. JP, brother, it's always a pleasure when you're on the show, man.
Thanks,
We
brother.
definitely, with us living around the corner from each other, we got to get together for some of these Knicks Sixers games once the season starts up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely.
You know, so Big O, appreciate you being on, brother. Do your thing. Love having you on. Shout out to Pastor TJ doing his thing out there, and to the mayor. And peace out to respect and shout out to Disabled Planets, and peace to Ishtar.
That's it. And we out. See y'all on the next one.